Assalamu alaikum to one and all. Historiography development in the West, that is history lesson we had started last time. We had covered 1.1, that was traditions of historiography. Then we had covered about 1.2, that is modern historiography. Then 1.3, development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography. And then the last point was 1.4, that is the notable scholars. We are going to continue with the notable scholars now, as we had gone through all these things last time. Now let us understand in details who were the renowned notable scholars who had started with the research work that led to the development of historiography. Okay. Now the first one here is René Descartes. He was born in the year 1596 and died in the year 1650. He was a French scholar, philosopher, and he insisted upon verifying the reliability of the historical document by critically examining them. What does it mean? He means to say that whenever any document, if anybody claims that the document is an old and it is a historical document, we need to verify whether that reliability of that document is there or not. What do you mean by reliability? And see the statement what he has given. Insisted on verifying the reliability of the historical document by critically examining them. That means by critically examining them means very minute observation and proper scientific way we need to identify whether that thing is true to the last stone unturned or not. He had also written book like Discourse on the Method. He was great person as a scholar, and the statement which is very famous of his is never to accept anything for true till all grounds of doubts are excluded. That means we should never accept anything till we have seen all the truth. That means now history is known as the truth which is revealed. But one problem in history is that as a scientific method we cannot go and do the experiments as we do in the lab, but we need to actually find out and verify from the books therein and to have a research work on that. So let us see to another person. He was the founder or a father figure of historiography, that is Voltaire. He was born in 1694 and died in the year 1778. Now he was also a French person, and he had the opinion that with the objective truth and chronology of the historical event, that is when we see the histories of the kings and queens, we should also observe that whether what was the condition of the local people or the layman or the middle class person or those who were the poor category person at that time, what was their social conditions, what was the traditions at that time, what was the trade that was going on at that time, what was the agriculture which was being there. And these all things are also very equally important, not only when the king died, when the king was born, how many children the king had, and who was sitting on the throne after the king. He gave rise to the thought that understanding of all aspects of human life is important for history writing. Thus that's why called as the founder of modern historiography. Now we move on to another person, that is George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. He was born in the year 1770 and died in 1831. He was a German philosopher. He insisted that a historical reality should be presented in a logical manner. That means people should be able to believe it should be true. To him, the timeline of historical events was indicating of progress. He also thought that the presentation of history is bound to change over time as well as evidence. Now, because of this person Hegel, others also understood that the quality had to be differed with the scientific method has to be utilized for the research method, so that people not only just listening from others and listening from the ancestor, we go on telling as a story type of history, but we need to actually have the facts and the proofs of the things which went on and the events which went on in the history. One important aspect he had told about the definition of dialects. What do you mean by dialects? In order to understand the true nature of anything, we need to know both the truth and the false of that thing. Similarly, good and bad things, and these method of analysis which is based on opposite things is called as dialects. In smaller age, when we were in senior or junior KG, you must have remembered there were many of the opposite words which we used to learn. Now, before learning the alphabets also, or the basic alphabets, at that time only we had learned about good, bad, day, night, happy, sad. Why it was? Because human mind can quickly understand the opposites at that time. Okay, so that is what he said, that this method of analysis which is based on understanding the true nature of a thing needs to know both the truth and the false. That is what is called as dialect. Another person will move on to, he is Leopold von Ranke. He was born in the year 1795 and died in 1886. Now he spoke about the critical method of historical research. What he said? He believed that with this method he was possible to reach the historical research. He said that originality or authenticity of any of the documents should be critically analyzed, not just an imaginative narration or like a folk tale or a story we should go on writing the history, but we need to have proof of each and every statement what the historian writes. Okay, he has also written 2 books in these regards, The Theory Practice of History and The Secret of World History. Okay, let us move on to another person whose name is Karl Marx. Now this person, he was born in 1818 and died in 1883. His statement is very important in history. Now, according to Karl Marx, history was not just about the abstract ideas, it was about living people. Human relations are shaped by the fundamental needs of people and the owner, as well as the nature of the prevalent means of production to meet those needs. What does it mean? It means that every person is striving hard to earn money for his living, right? Now, from the layman who is at the basic, that is the laborer, or those who are working as a farm worker, they earn their money from the farmer, right? On the head of the farmer, there is a person called landlord. Why? Because all the time the farmer is borrowing the money from the landlord as a loan. So every time the landlord is pressurizing the farmer, and in return the farmer is pressurizing the laborer. Now what he says, that Karl Marx says that the human history is the history of class struggle. What do you mean by class struggle? When we see that the laborer is at the bottom, then the farmer, and then upon that is the landlord. So what do you mean? As the class that owns the means of production economically exploits the rest of the classes. What he says? Exploits means harass. What does it mean? He can give less money to the laborer and take more work from him. he can pressurize the laborer. So such kind of things were happening and still happening in this society. He has written one book on this that is called as Das Kapital. From here onwards, the communalism had started. What do you mean by communalism? The way in which the people were treated in the society was the rich were treated in a different manner and the poor in a different manner. But he said that the wealth should be distributed equally among the classes and masses. Okay. Now here we will see another person who was also a renowned scholar, Michel Foucault. He was born in the year 1926 and died in the year 1984. In his book, that is Archaeology of Knowledge, he argues that the chronological order is not important when the human life started or how it went on progressing, but what he says that the transition period is the most important period, that is the changes that took place at that time because of some of the ancestor and the reasons behind it. Now he drew attention to the fact that archaeology does not strive to reach the ultimate historical truth, but it attempts to explain various transitions in the past. Foucault felt that explaining the transition in history is more important. He called this method as archaeology of knowledge. What does it mean? Let us understand in a simpler manner. Suppose a child who goes till the candle, and when he sees the candle and he is attracted towards the light of the candle, if a candle is burning, wax candle suppose, if it is burning and the child wants to touch it, he is attracted because of the light or the color, beautiful color of that. But as soon as he touches, he has the experience that it is very hot and can burn him. So he removes his hand. And from then onward, he got a lesson, and next time if he sees the candle, he changes his way. He does not go and try to touch it. So there is a transition period. There is a change in his behavior because of that. So what Michel Foucault said, why people have a transition or the change in their behavior, and from there onward the reason behind that change has to be understood. That is what history should explain. Now, word to word explanation of this is that Foucault felt that explaining the transition in history is more important. He called this method as the archaeology of knowledge. Now, we are moving towards Analyst School. Analyst School of Thought. Now, it's not just a school, but it is the people, intellectual people of France. They came together and had a new direction, given a new direction to history, not just the stories of the kings and queens and when they were born and who was on the throne at what time. But he said that these intellectual people in the 20th century had recognized that history is not about the political events, kings, great leaders, accordingly politics, diplomacy and war, but also about the climate, the local people, the poor people, the agriculture, the trade, the technology, the means of communication, social divisions and their collective psychology. These all should be included in the historical times. That is what the Analyst School was started in French, and then it continued, then it became a part of history. Now, the last point which I need to explain here is the feminist historiography. What is feminist historiography? The word itself reveals that female. Now, feminist means female, concerned with the females. As in the olden times, you must have seen the women were suffering from lot of problems. Not only just they will have to live in the house simply working and taking care of children and cooking for the whole family, but they were suppressed. Their voice was not allowed to go out of the house. They were not given many of the rights. You must have seen through many of the olden stories which can reveal to you that After a long struggle, the females have been came out as we see them today in all the faculties of job, like they are pilots, they are working on great officer levels and many other kind of status. Last time it was not like this. They had to take a lot of trouble. Even the basic education was not allowed for the women. Now the feminist historiography emphasizes means gives importance not only on the inclusion of the woman in history but also on the rethinking of the male dominated perspective of history. What does it mean? Male dominated. That means the male was given more status in the history. It drew historical research to focus in depth on various aspects of women's life, such as their employment, their role in trade union. That means now we see the women are also going on jobs. Then we see them as leaders and doing the business as an entrepreneur and having trade unions, institutions working for their cause. That means those people who are working for the welfare, societies that are working for the welfare of the women and children and their family life. In the historical writings after 1990, women were portrayed as an independent social class. Women were portrayed as an independent social class. What does it mean? Portrait means shown. How it was shown? Because as they got educated, they went in all the fields and they are now working parallel to the man. So here we end this lesson. Thank you so much.